is this the end of the road for small fleets and owner-operators? So in the last 2 weeks, I've received 3 phone calls from 3 small fleets. The smallest one being with 3 trucks and the largest one was with 11 trucks. Now, they all ask me, the first question is, do I consult and can I be their mentor? So yes, I can consult and yes, I can be your mentor, but I have to have something to work with. It is obvious that it's the end of the road for some of the small fleet owners, because when I look at the data and I look at their numbers and I look at what they're doing, I am taken away and I am speechless and floored by how you were able to survive this long. First thing that I ask a fleet owner when, he says, Ronen, will you guide me? Will you consult me? First thing I ask is for the unit numbers, the bill of sale for the 3 units, and the finance agreements, both for the trucks and for the trailers. And boy, oh boy, again, I try to push this really, really hard. The purchase is extremely important in the way that you're financing these trucks and in the way that you close the deals when you purchase these units. How do I know when a company is doomed? There's key indicators that I can see right away within the first hour of our phone call. The first thing I'll ask is if they have any direct customers. Usually the smaller fleets will probably say no because they've been so accustomed to working off of these load boards. The second thing I would ask them is, what is your competitive advantage? What are you doing differently than your neighbor? What are you doing differently than another trucking company? What's giving you this competitive advantage? Number 3 is your expenses and your reserves. So when times were great, what did you do? So you were billing customers $3, $4, $5 a mile in the good times. You were making a ton of money. What did you do with all that money? And how much do you have in reserves? With all 3 scenarios, all 3 trucking companies that have called me and reached out to me, when we get to this question, it appears to be that the money was just blown away. The money was just spent. The money just disappeared. And one of the things that I really try to do myself as a fleet owner, I really try to limit the spending, limit the desires for all the fancy stuff that come with this life. Fancy cars are just not needed. Whatever other desires that people have, it's just extra and it's really not needed. A lot of the money is spent on the wrong places. A lot of the money is just blown away. And now in the hard time, when you need that money, there's really nothing to fall back on. So the rate per mile is extremely important. The last thing I go into it with them would be the rate per mile and what do they need in order to survive. So when I tell Americans that we here run our fleet at $2.50 a mile. Now, when I convert that into American dollars, it's $1.92 per mile. That's what we run our fleets, and that is us being profitable. What's to say with companies in the US that are running at $2.20, $2.30, $2.40 per mile? So you need to know at where are you profitable and where are you losing money? So I always ask that question and I get different answers from different fleet owners. Now I'm also in touch with 2 or 3 different companies in the US that have 300-400 trucks, and they are hurting, and they are hurting bad. Common denominator between all of them is that they don't have direct customers, they don't have a competitive advantage, and they're really not in tune with their fleet's rate per mile on what is needed for them to stay afloat and what's their break-even point, where do they lose money. So another 3 or 4 months of this, what is going to happen? There's going to be a huge movement in drivers in the US. So drivers are going to be jumping from one company to another company because no driver wants to lay over. Now, if you have 300-400 trucks and you're servicing open board and you don't have any direct customers, then you're really in trouble because you have truck drivers that are just going to be running away. No driver is going to be laying over 2-3 days in one location and then another 2 days in another location. So it's going to be really interesting to see what is going to happen with small fleets in the US. If you do have that 1 or 2 trucks, this might be a good time to jump onto a bigger carrier. I think that that would save people from going out of business. If you jump onto a bigger carrier, yes, you're going to be making a little bit less than what you were making or what you're making right now, but at least they're going to run you consistently on either their dedicated lanes or their open board. But if you do have any questions or a series of questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at sponsorship@ettransport.ca, and I'd be more than happy to answer some of your questions. I won't give out the names, even if you do reach out to me. I won't give out the names of the companies that reach out to me, either the small fleets or the larger fleets. But if you ever want to chit chat with me, you're more than welcome to. I'm Ronen, R-O-N-E-N, and I'll catch you in my next video.